Okay, so hello everybody. Thanks so much for coming. My name is Sadie Presto, and my capstone presentation is titled I Want More, and it is an ideological analysis of Blood, Sweat, and Tears by BTS. Napita Namo, the Korean translation of the phrase my blood, sweat, and tears. The same phrase made famous by South Korean music group BTS from their record-breaking music video and song Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So, who are BTS? I'll tell you! Bangtan Sonyeondan, better known as BTS, is a South Korean music group who have recreated the world and meaning of music. Consisting of 7 members from left to right are Taehyung, Yoongi, Seokjin, Jungkook, Namjoon, Jimin, and Hoseok, who is my favorite that you can see by the little heart I have by him. On February 21st of this year, BTS released their highly anticipated album titled Map of the Soul 7 and obliterated sales projections. When Map of the Soul 7 was finally released, McInner from Forbes reported that BTS beat Adele's record for the fastest-selling album of all time in its first 24 hours, totaling 7.23 million sales. Many are calling this what Gibson names the Korean wave, or the mass spreading and fixation of Korean culture. At this point, it isn't just a wave, but a whole tsunami. Now that you have a grasp of BTS and their global influence, let me move to the description of my topic. The artifact that I chose for my capstone is the music video Blood, Sweat, and Tears by BTS. Released on October 10th, 2016 as the title track to their album Wings, Blood, Sweat, and Tears follows the 7 members of BTS as they bear their innocence, fall prey to temptation, and by the end of the song are consumed by temptation. The story of Blood, Sweat, and Tears is told through music, lyrics, dance, and artwork with heavy influences from Greek mythology, the Holy Bible, and Hermann Hesse's Demian. Currently, in 2020, the music video has over 560 million views. Before I show a shortened version of the music video that I edited, it is important to note that all of BTS's 7 years worth of music videos are set in what is called the Bangtan universe. In the Bangtan universe, the 7 members of BTS are regular boys who grow up as best friends. After high school ends, all of the boys lose touch and go down the wrong paths, until Seokjin keeps waking up to it being the same day over and over. He then realizes it's his mission to find and save all of the boys. Throughout the evolution of 7 years in each new music video, the goal of Seokjin keeping the boys together has always stayed the same. In this music video, Seokjin, who we see staring at the painting in the first scene, is the protagonist, while Taehyung, who we see sitting on a balcony and sprouting wings in a couple scenes, is the antagonist. Through the music video, the 5 other members fight against Taehyung to stop him from getting to Seokjin. This is related to temptation because Seokjin serves the role of innocence and purity, while Taehyung serves the role of temptation and sin, thus his black wings that we see. So what you're about to see is a 6-minute long music video condensed into a minute and a half, so this is going to be a lot of information at once. And just please focus as much as you can, and I will choose scenes to analyze later. So things will make sense, but it's going to be a lot at once. Okay, I'm just going to try to transition out of this. Give me 1 second.
내 피땀눈물 내 마지막 춤을 다 가져가 내 피땀눈물 내 차가운 숨을 다 가져가 원내 money 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 원내 money money money, 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 money. 오늘은 죽여줘. 너의 손길 나는 감겨줘. 어차피 거부할 수조차 없어. 서로 갈 수조차 없어. 네가 너무 달콤해, 너무 달콤해, 너무 달콤해서.
He too was a tempter. He too was a link to the second. The evil world with which I no longer wanted to have anything to do.
내 피땀눈물
Let me continue. Again, I know that was a lot, so just let me move on to my research question, topic, justification, and hypothesis. Okay, so since Blood, Sweat, and Tears is told through art forms, my research question focuses around that. How does Blood, Sweat, and Tears by BTS tell the story of temptation through various art forms? My personal fascination with BTS obviously led me to justify the importance, but why should you? The first reason is because it allows for an evaluation of art, both old and new. Along with this, the second reason is because this video is what got BTS their global recognition, showing just how much of an influence they have. BTS's impact has the ability to open 560 million people's eyes and either learn or have a new appreciation for the art form showcased. Here I have pictures from their new album that continue the focus on the same themes that we see in Tears, including the fallen angel and Last Supper concepts. For my hypothesis, I hypothesized that for my research question to be answered by the references of Greek mythology, the Holy Bible, and Demian, shown throughout each scene. Now allow me to lightly go over my topic literature review. My 18 sources for my literature review were organized into 6 different subtopics due to the various levels of my subject. I already went over 5 of the subjects, so allow me to explain Demian. The book Demian follows Sinclair's life as a young man when he meets his best friend, Demian. Sinclair is questioning his religion, and Demian teaches him that the evil parts have to be worshipped in the world too. This is exactly what we see to the left, with Taehyung finally unveiling the fallen statue with Taehyung's wings to Seokjin. Then Sinclair and Demian are sent to war, where Sinclair is hit by a bomb that he mistakes as a fallen star. In the middle of the night, Demian comes to Sinclair, kisses him, and then leaves him to die. This is exactly what we see to the right when Seokjin kisses the fallen angel statue with Taehyung's wings, walks to the mirror with the translated quote, "You still have to have chaos inside of you in order to give birth to a falling star," and cracks on his face from the death of his innocence. Now let me move on to my method description. The main method I used was ideological criticism, which, according to Foss, is used to look beyond the surface structure of an artifact to discover the beliefs, values, and assumptions it suggests. Ideological criticism is completed in 4 steps: identifying the presented elements of the artifact, identifying the suggested elements, formulating an ideology, and identifying the function served. Now I'll go just lightly mention my method of literature review. I had 12 sources that I found that had relation to both ideological analysis and music or music videos. Next, my analysis. Through my analysis, I realized that the 2 areas to focus on were the 7 deadly sins in relation to the Holy Bible and the presented elements. First is looking at the 7 numbers in a biblical sense through the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins are greed, sloth, envy, gluttony, wrath, pride, and lust. But due to time constraints, I will only be going over pride and lust. Pride, in a level where one believes they are better than God, is painful. Taehyung, to the left, has large scars on his back that represent the wings that have been torn off after he fell down the balcony. Before he falls, Taehyung looks back and smiles, showing the audience that he is prideful of something that should be looked down upon. Lust, to the right, is a sexual sin that is motivated by pleasure. By the end of the video, Seokjin kisses the fallen angel statue and all hell literally breaks loose. Since sin is represented in the fallen angel statue that he kisses, Seokjin corrupts his pure self with the temptation of lust. The evidence of this corruption is evidenced when a multitude of items in the music video break or bleed color. Lastly is my main method used, which is ideological criticism. I narrowed 3 main elements, but due to time constraints, I will only be going over 1, which is wings. One presented element is wings. The suggested elements that I chose were fallen angel, sin, and impurity. First, we see a flash of Taehyung gasping as black angel wings spurt from his back and he grins. After, we see him with his wings hidden, contemplating if he jump off the balcony. A couple of scenes later, he smiles and jumps off the balcony with the mythological painting The Fall of Icarus by Peter Bruegel in front of him. The Greek mythology behind this painting is that Icarus's father gave him a pair of wax wings to fly, but he ignored his father's warning to stay away from the sun. He flies too close to the sun, and ultimately his wings melt and he falls to his death in the ocean. That you can lightly see his legs right next to that ship to the right. Lastly, as the other members are leaving the museum, Seokjin stays behind and Taehyung covers his eyes to show him the statue of the fallen angel. During this, Namjoon narrates, quoting straight from Demian, "He too was a tempter. He too was a link to the second, the evil world with which I no longer wanted to have anything to do." We see the veil get taken off Taehyung, showing that his innocence is gone, and shows the scars of where his wings used to be. He replaced them with the statue so Seokjin could seal sin with a kiss. After analyzing, I found that the major similarity in common is the theme of impurity. Whichever specific act you focus on, they all share that each member is going against their innocence and following temptation, leading to impurity. I think that the music video did a fantastic job of humanizing innocence through Seokjin and temptation through Taehyung. Through my extensive research, I was able to answer my research question, how does Blood, Sweat, and Tears by BTS tell the story of temptation through various art forms? The writer, BTS, does an amazing job of telling the story of temptation through the artifact Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Through the strengths of the video, including the artwork, story, and acting, BTS shows the audience the results of falling to temptation. In conclusion, the implication of Blood, Sweat, and Tears is that no matter how sweet something sounds, it always ends up being a bitter decision in the end. Seokjin goes into the music video pure, innocent, and curious, and leaves cracked, drained, and tainted. Seokjin had 6 other people tempting him to fall, and with Taehyung's extra help of unveiling the statue of the fallen angel, his fall was inevitable. In conclusion, with ideological criticism, the main themes of impurity, the references of Greek mythology, the Holy Bible, and Demian, everyone can see the clear message that BTS gave when warning the audience of temptation. Napitin mo, my blood, sweat, and tears. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Very good. I'm unmuting myself so you can hear some applause. I encourage others to do so if it's not too clunky. But oh yay! Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nicely done, Sadie. Any questions or comments from the audience?
Thank you so much. I invited all my BTS friends. I know y'all have something to say.
You can do the little raised hand thing if you want. If you want to, do it in an organized way.
Wait, am I
or
sharing
you can
audio right now?
Yes, Alicia is
I
sharing
can
audio.
Hi, Sadie.
Claire, is that you?
Wait, Sadie. Oh my god, that was so good.
What's up? What do you want to ask me?
What?
I'm asking questions. Do you have a question for me?
Let me think. How do you? I'm trying to think of how to word it because I'm sorry. I'm like speechless.
Thank you.
So the presentation, like the actual like subject matter of it, I know you have like a personal connection to it, but like besides BTS, like in terms of the other content, like are you like super into that stuff?
Well, no, that's a great question. So I was never in the English class that learned about Greek mythology and all that different type of stuff, and I didn't grow up religious at all, so I knew nothing really about the Bible. After watching that, I was just like, wow, like what does all of this go into? Claire, as you know, when you get into BTS, you fall hard. So I like was researching every part of this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what does all this mean? And I just found it all really interesting, and especially Demi too. I hadn't read the book before, and after I read it and interviewed one of my friends, it was just crazy how many similarities the whole BTS storyline, and even in connection with Greek mythology and the Bible, everything just goes together. And I just found it really super interesting, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to really deep dive into all of it.
Oh my god, that was so good. Thank you for answering my question. Now,
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. All right.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Claire. That was a really great question. I didn't know how Sadie got into the other art forms and the biblical references and all of that. So it was interesting to hear about. It looks like we have a question.
Yeah, I see your hand is raised.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. First of all, I absolutely love this presentation. This was literally a great, it's like one of the greatest interpretations I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh!
Okay. All right, so my question is, do you think BTS is going to like do what they did with Blood, Sweat, and Tears and go off of like different time periods with their music and like interpret it in their way?
I
Do you understand?
definitely, yes, I do. And I definitely believe so, especially with, I'm not going to go back through all these slides, but how I mentioned with like how to justify it, how, you know, in version 2 and 3 of the newest album, how it goes back to that Black Swan, Fallen Angel, Dark Wings type of concept and the Last Supper type of thing to it. And I definitely think that they're going to keep on going on with the Bantan universe type of storyline that goes deeper into things that you wouldn't think of. Like I talk to Dr. Prelowitz all the time that it's just so crazy to see how an Asian South Korean band, just music group, can find all of these connections with something that people see as Western. That's not really Western. We're not going to get into that. But
Right.
just see like how would a music group put all these connections together and make this storyline go on for 7 years and keep on having connections that go back to 2014 to 2020. Like it's just very crazy. I definitely think they're going to keep on going on and they're going to keep on blowing our minds.
I hope so. Imagine them trying to do like a Freudian concept. Oh my god, I'd die.
Oh no ma'am, no ma'am.
Yeah. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Are there any other questions?
Julia, I see your hand is raised. Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Julia.
So I have a question. Is there something that you would have like loved to talk more about in your presentation, but since you had like no time, like what could you have, like, talked about?
Julia. I have 24 pages worth of stuff. Of course, I wanted to talk more about them. No, I definitely did. I wish that I could have talked more on the 7 deadly sins. I found that extremely interesting. I know that I just quickly showed the slide, but I compared each member in their stance in the music video to what sin I thought they correlated with, and I wish that I could have talked about that more. We would have to have a group FaceTime call for me to go deeper into it, but definitely the 7 deadly sins. It's an extremely interesting concept, and I wish I could have spoke more on it.
That was so good, Sadie. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much, Julia.
You're welcome.
Dr. Prelowitz, I see your hand is raised. I think maybe. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. What is your question?
Hey, great job. Just wanted to say
Thank you
thanks
so
very much.
much.
Thank you for letting me, inviting me to let me hear it.
Thank you for coming.
So, what was the most interesting part of this research for you? What was the connection you think was most important that makes you see and understand BTS in like a deeper way now, or a more interesting way now?
Yeah, I definitely, how I answered, I forget who I said that to, but the most interesting part to me was definitely Damien. I didn't realize, like I said before, I hadn't read the book before, and I was just watching all of these music videos, or what they call like short films, with just knowing the BTS background. But after reading Damien and then going back and watching not only Blood, Sweat, and Tears, but they have music videos for each one of their solo songs on this album, and they all start with a quote from Damien, and each person's storyline for this album is based off of that quote. And after reading the book, it makes so much more sense of why Jimin's whole thing is dying from this poison apple and lying, and I'm not going to get into everything else, but there's just so many more connections from Damien that I didn't realize until I read it. And I'm really happy that I met my friend Sid, who I interviewed, who gave me more information on Damien, and how I just personally read the book and understood so much more.
Yeah, that's a great connection. That's really cool. S is a really interesting author. It'll be curious to see if they do some other work with some of his other novels. So that was really interesting. Great job. Excellent presentation. Thanks so much. Representative Major, very well. Really appreciate that. You should feel very proud.
Oh, thank you. All right, Erin, I see your hand is raised.
It wasn't really a question. I just wanted to say I really liked your presentation, and my biggest thing, like going into this, I know being your peer review partner, was just like for you to like dumb it down for those of us that don't know anything about BTS, and I think you did a really good job. Like, I don't know much about it, but it really seems really interesting, and I think you did a really good job explaining it to people that wouldn't know about it.
Mm-hmm. Erin, thank you so much. You know I love you, and I appreciate everything that you've done with me on my reviews.
Okay,
Blair,
we have one more
I see your
question.
hand is raised. Last one is my girl Blair, who got me into this whole mess.
Oh, yes, you did so good. It was so amazing. Oh my goodness. I loved it so much.
Blair, thank you so much.
Oh, of course. My question was, I guess, for people that don't really know BTS and like want to further it more, what do you think would be like the next kind of music video or anything to like look into or watch after this to like kind of further their knowledge on it, I guess?
Oh my goodness, Blair, that is such a good question. Oh my gosh, I want to give Alicia time to do her presentation, so I'm going to try to make this quick. I will say I'm going to feel so dumb because I feel like I'm going to miss one that I really wanted to talk about more, but the other music video that I was contemplating doing a review on was Spring Day. It's a beautiful music video, and it has a lot of connections with, I don't know, I read it in English class, both in high school and college. It's called The Ones Who Walked Away from Omelas. And that music video is based on that. It's like a short story, or I forget if it's a novel, but it's very interesting. I did start to do some research on it whenever I was trying to figure out which music video I wanted to do. And I just ended up going with Blood, Sweat, and Tears because it's from my favorite like era of theirs. But Spring Day is not only a beautiful song that was like dedicated to us, their fans, and just the music video itself is also extremely visually appealing, and the story with it is also awesome. And I love you, Blair.
Oh, I love you too.
Thank you for asking that question.
Oh, of course. Thank you for giving such an amazing answer. You're so amazing.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you guys so much for all asking me such great questions and being so nice to me.
I want to congratulate Sadie for an amazing presentation, and I thank the audience for such smart and interesting questions. Sadie, I think it is always a wonderful thing when we can bridge our personal interests with research and bring into new light the ideas and meaning behind something about which we care so deeply. And so getting to see you pursue this topic was a real joy. And I learned a lot. I only kind of knew vaguely about BTS, but I feel like I learned, and I didn't know anything about Demian at all. So I feel like I learned a lot from it. And your slides were very visually stunning, and it just kind of shows that BTS really does put so much care into putting forward these complex and rich visual tapestries to complement their musical output. And I think it is something that is not done as widely or as effectively as it once did during like the heyday of music videos, when they had more opportunity to be broadcast on conventional kinds of media like MTV, for example. So getting to learn about this project and see what is still possible in that artistic realm was a real fun and interesting thing for me. So I thank you so much for pursuing it, and congratulations. I hope you get to celebrate with your friends, maybe do like a Zoom happy hour or something with all of them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Galani. I really appreciate it. And everybody's kind words. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.